Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Media Boss Live on this Labor Day here. It's in America. It's Labor Day. I don't know if you all do anything outside of the country, but if, wherever you're watching, it is Labor Day here. It's a holiday started by unions years ago, and we just want to make sure that we acknowledge those people who are laboring, who are working to help make this country what it is, and we want to also acknowledge anyone who just wanted to have a holiday today and just take some time off. A lot of people are celebrating with family, cookouts, and so forth. But business still goes on, guys. Your business still goes on. And that's why we're here to talk about that on Media Boss Live, because we want to make sure that you are able to use media. And what I'm doing is making sure that we have these 5 days, 5 days, to make sure that you have media strategies that you can act on right now. So, what is this? Media Boss Live is a live stream I do to make sure that you can learn some things about media to help you to grow. And these are things that you can do. Now, I run Media Boss Live, Media Boss Pro, I'm sorry, my company Media Boss Pro, where we work with people like yourselves and we actually do things to help you to grow your business through media. Meaning we help develop media platforms for entrepreneurs. Mainly we work with the people who are in the C-suite to help them to build their own presence, to get themselves out there, to show the world rather, what they know and what they do. And we use it by leveraging media. A lot of people have not leveraged it fully, and we want to make sure they can do that. Now, who am I? I am Dr. Barrett Matthews. I have a background in media. I majored in media at college at Hampton University. I got out and I was assistant director for a local news station here in Washington, D.C., a major market. Then I moved up to New York where I worked at CBS Sports for the network, had work shown all over the world where I have actually worked with some legends of the business, Brent Musburger, James Brown, some of the legends in sports broadcasting. I've worked with some of these gentlemen and I had my work shown all over and helped put together the NFL season on CBS for them before. And I've also done a lot of work on the side, working with entrepreneurs, working with business owners, as far as helping them to build their brands through media, working in television, working in print, working even some consulting with filmmakers, and working with people in social media as well. So, what I decided to do was to work with those people who are in the C-suite, to help those people to develop their businesses, to grow, and to be seen in more places. Now, I've done that through Media Boss Pro, and I still develop other people. I help produce people's media for them to help them to learn, so people can learn more about what they do. And I can do that for you as well. If you are interested in learning more about how we can do that for you, contact us at mediabosspro.com, mediabosspro.com, and just set up a time, schedule a time where we can meet. I would love to talk to you. I'd love to learn more about you. You can also reach me on LinkedIn. You have if you're watching this, you're watching it on social media. So reach out, leave a comment, say you'd like to connect with me, you'd like to schedule some time to learn more about what we do here. And also make sure that you're sharing this, wherever you're watching it. Make sure you're sharing it. Make sure you are also leaving comments and questions about what we're talking about today. I would love to engage with more of you, to get to know some of you, and to see if there's something we can do to help you grow with your media and in your business. So, with that being said, let's talk about today's topic on Media Boss Live. Today's topic is, why should I podcast? Why should I podcast? Now, I like this topic because I get asked this question quite a bit, because a lot of people don't even understand podcasting. Let me just break it down into a layman's term for those of you who are, and this is for those people who are in business, and a lot of the people who've had success in business, they're wondering, why should I podcast? Well, one thing it does, it puts your message out there, and your brand out there on a broader scale. And then some people wonder, like, what is a podcast? Well, a podcast, it is, and I'm going to put this into a basic form. Imagine having your own radio show. You know, some people may say, well, I've had my own radio show, and that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Now imagine having your own radio show that goes everywhere. And some people say, well, I've had an online radio show before, and that's fantastic. And, but imagine having your own radio show that goes everywhere, that can be heard at any time, day or night, for years and years and years. That is the one thing most people don't have with a podcast. See, with a podcast, you actually can broadcast it one time, put it out one time, and then people can actually listen to it, watch it for years and years on their devices. If you go back to look at some podcasts out there, they've been going on for years, and you can still go back and listen to episode one, and go and start from the beginning and catch up to how at your pace whenever you want to. It's on demand. That's something you can set up for your business, and you can have your message resonate with people because different episodes, whether you have guests on them, so forth and so on. It's a great way for you to build up your presence, to build your brand. Now, some of you are still saying, but yeah, my business is going pretty well. I don't think I need to do that. And I say to you, what business stays stagnant? Hmm? What business doesn't want to do more? What business doesn't want to have more people interested? Y'all remember Blockbuster Video? Anybody remember that? Anybody? Well, Blockbuster Video wanted to stay stagnant. They thought that they were running things. They thought everything was good until technology took over. Netflix. Remember Netflix? Oh yeah, you don't have to remember Netflix because it's here and Blockbuster is gone. So I say that to you because if you think that just because you're running a successful business that you don't need more reach, that you don't need more presence, you are fooling yourself. And I hate to say it, that you're probably going to be disappointed at some point. And I hate to say that because I don't want you to do that. So I would rather you embrace media. And podcasting is one of the easiest ways, which we'll get into a little bit later, as to why you should, why I say podcasting. Now, with that, with podcasting, you get to do it in so many different ways, and we'll talk about that later in the week as well. But you get to talk to so many people, you get to engage with so many people, you get to learn from so many people, and it's a great way for clients to connect with you because they get to see and hear you as someone other than a face behind a wall. So they actually know, they can actually hear you, hear how your inflection in your voice goes. See if you do a video podcast, which I also suggest, they can see your facial expressions and so forth. So they feel like more connected to you, if that's the way to put it. They feel like they get to know you a little bit, and it's something that I think that all of us should aspire to, is to have our potential clients feel that they know us because they would be more inclined to do business with us. And that's one of the reasons I surely recommend podcasting for people, because I think every business owner should have a podcast. Whether you're the owner or whether you're someone within the company that they put out front or whatever, there should be podcasting going on for that company because everyone else has one. Now, let me bring up this topic because it always comes up. Well, aren't there too many podcasts? Isn't the market saturated? Okay, let me explain something to you. Podcasting is a form of media. We already know that, right? You know what else is a form of media? Books. Books are a form of media. Are there too many books out there? Is book writing saturated? Book reading saturated? Is it? No, of course not. Neither is podcasting. Your podcast is going to be different than everyone else's podcast. You know why? Because it has you. And you are different than everyone else out there. So I recommend, yes, getting a podcast out there because it expresses you and your business and the way you do business, and the way you communicate, the way you deal with your clients, the way you operate differently than everyone else. So that is why you should definitely have a podcast out there. Now, why do I say podcast? Why not the other forms of media? Should you have other forms of media? Of course you should. Of course you should. But I always tell people to start with the podcast. Now, here's my reason why. It's very simple. It's very, very simple. If you love what you do in your business, if you really care about what you do and you care about your clients and you think it's something that's wonderful, I guarantee you You could talk about that for days. If I gave you the opportunity, let's talk about your business and what you do and what you love. You could just keep talking about it. Well, if I hit record on that, we may have a podcast episode. Get my point? I always say it's easier to do a podcast than other forms of media because it requires less thinking on your part, and you can just naturally flow into it. Now, is it going to be structured like some other podcasts? Maybe not. Maybe so. But at least it's easier for you to put together because it's easy for you to talk about something that you love. If you love cooking, it's easier to talk about cooking. If you love landscaping, you can talk about landscaping. It's one of those things that if you love doing it, you can talk about it. So if we record it, you can have yourself a podcast. And I want you to understand something because this is a pushback I get from a lot of people who talk about doing podcasts. I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't know if I'm good enough for it. You don't have to be good enough for a podcast. If you can sit down and talk about something you love, you are good enough. That's it. Stop trying to be perfect. I express to people all the time. We all know the expression that nobody's perfect. So if we know that nobody's perfect, why are you trying to be something that nobody can be? Doesn't make sense. Just go ahead and be you. Because the audience that wants what you have to offer is drawn to you. And if they're drawn to you, they're drawn to you with all your pimples and bruises and scars. They don't care because they love you and they like what you have to offer them. So another reason you should have a podcast, and I get this objection from people all the time, is, oh, I don't have time. And I always crack up when I hear that. They say, I don't have time. And I said, well, how much time does it take? And then they just start stuttering and stammering. I don't know. So if you don't know, how can you say you don't have enough time? Doesn't make sense to me. So it's an excuse. That's what it is. It's an excuse. And to be honest with you, podcasting doesn't take a lot of time. The amount of time that you spend here listening to this, you could have recorded an episode. I'm just saying, you could have recorded an episode just for the time you spend listening to this. You take 20, 25 minutes, you could have a whole show done. It doesn't take a lot of time. It may take some planning, just to plan out what you want your episodes to be about, how you want to talk about it. But to do it doesn't take a lot of time at all, at all. You spend more time than that probably in front of the TV. You spend more time than that talking to your friends. You spend more time than that eating lunch. It doesn't take a lot of time to do the podcast. So I'm not buying that excuse. Okay, let's get that out of the way. Oh well, it sounds expensive. Okay, first of all, this is your business, and it is a tool to help you market your business to get more people. So let me just put it to you this way: if it costs you money to get in front of 1,000 more people, would you be willing to spend money to get in front of 1,000 more people? I think most business owners definitely would. 10,000, 20,000. See my point? So you would spend money for that. Now, once again, it doesn't necessarily have to cost a lot of money to get started on a podcast. As a matter of fact, you know how much money it costs you to get started on a podcast? It can cost you zero. It can cost you zero to get started on a podcast. Now, if you want someone else to produce it for you, yeah, you would have to pay someone to produce it. But that's the cost of doing business. And just like you as a business owner, all people have to pay you to do business, correct? Correct. So you should be willing to pay others to do business. One of my good friends, Myron Golden, Myron always says that he enjoys paying people to do work for him, to do service for him. He enjoys doing it. So my question to you is, do you enjoy paying people to do work for you? Because he says the reason he enjoys paying it because he wants people to enjoy paying him. He enjoys what he wants people to enjoy paying him. So it goes both ways. So you should enjoy having someone to do the work for you so you can focus on your business. Let you produce the raw content, let someone else handle the rest. Hire someone. Now, does my company do that? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. If you'd like for us to do that, once again, go to MediaBossPro.com, MediaBossPro.com. You can schedule a time. We can talk about that. But that doesn't mean you have to work with me. I'm just saying you can get anyone to do it. Well, not anyone. You can get other people to do it. But the thing is, I think it's a great way for you to free up your time and still have your message out there. I used to be a productivity coach, and many of you who are watching may know that. I used to train people on productivity. I used to tell people all the time, get a podcast going. Because if your podcast is spreading your message and it stays out there on and on and on, you can focus on running your business while your message stays out there. It's a great way for you to get things going and stay productive. And you can have people who can see your podcast or listen to your podcast a month from now. And they may go, I need to contact that person because they have what I need. But if you don't have it out there, they don't know. They don't know. And they won't learn what you have to offer. So why should you podcast? Because it's a great way. I mean, a great way. One of the greatest ways out there now to get your message out there and to stay findable for people. And let me emphasize something to you. A lot of times people always complain about having visibility in their market. They need to get out there. Well, this is one of the ways that you can do it and it's accessible to you. When I was coming up in media a long time ago, if you wanted to be seen and known, you had to hope and pray that someone would find you interesting enough to give you 2 minutes of time on their radio show, TV show, or maybe even write an article about you. Now you have access to it. Now you can pick up a phone and actually record a podcast. You can actually use a phone to shoot a movie now. So there's so many things that are at your fingertips. And it would be such a waste for you not to take advantage of them because they're all there for you. It's really up to you as to whether you're going to utilize them. And I think podcasting is probably the easiest and simplest way for you to get started in it. And you can take that content and then repurpose it into so many other things. I've done that with my podcast. Some of my clients, we've done it with their podcast. We've taken their content and turned it into other products for them. So that way now they've recorded it one time and they can use it over and over and over again. And I recommend the same thing for you. Just get started on it. So when should you get started? Yesterday. Stop procrastinating. You're giving yourself all types of excuses as to why you and your business shouldn't be podcasting right now. Stop it. Stop giving yourself excuses. Say it right now. I'm not going to give any more excuses. Say it right now. Put it in the chat. I'm not giving more excuses. I'm ready to start my podcast. I urge you to do that because if you can do that, you'll start seeing that you're enjoying yourself. Your people are getting to notice you, and so forth and so on. Now, speaking of enjoying, do a topic that you like. Matter of fact, do a topic you love that you can talk about. If it becomes a chore to you, then you probably shouldn't do it. Talk about something you love. Have fun with it. Enjoy yourself. Stop trying to be cookie cutter. Don't try to be like everyone else. Just do a podcast that you can have fun with. Do a podcast you can enjoy. Do a podcast with someone else. Do a podcast by yourself. Whatever. But just have fun with it. If it's not fun, then it might not be for you. But I think everybody can do something that they enjoy and talk about it. That's all you're doing with the podcast. So, with all that being said, we're going to wrap up today's Media Boss Live. We're going to be here the next 4 days of the week, God willing. And I want to thank you, and I hope you share this. I want you to leave your comments in, and I appreciate all the likes, all the comments, and so forth and so on. Definitely appreciate that. I want to make sure that all of you can get the most out of your media. So if you want to contact me about putting something together for you and your company, contact me, www.mediabosspro.com, mediabosspro.com. And also, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. You can reach out to us, guys. We don't bite. We're here to help you. And we want to make sure that you guys can grow and have your business to reach different levels. I'm really looking forward to working with some of you, and hopefully we can see you at another level because you've used media to help your business grow. So, as I always say before I end here, always remember, guys, you are something special because you are God's vessel. Have a great day, everybody. I'll talk to you soon, and happy Labor Day.